Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. It is Nurse B back again with another video. So in today's video, I actually want to do a story time about my scariest moment in nursing. And y'all, it happened recently during my COVID assignment. I was late to the game because most people, they had started, going on those contracts as soon as it happened. Like around March 2020, I had so many people I worked with quit, leave the job. They was done. They was out of there. They went to go make their money. Me, I was like, no, I want to be faithful to this job. I want to make it work. I don't want to leave my team. But just like every other nurse, I'm seeing all these newer nurses come in and, like making really good money. So I was like, I got a couple of bills that I really need to pay. So I want to go ahead and take my first COVID assignment, which actually, no, the first assignment that I took, it wasn't a COVID assignment. It had increased rates, but I wouldn't say it was a true COVID assignment. My first true COVID assignment was my second travel nurse contract. That assignment, you guys, that was crazy. It was fun, but it was crazy, and it was, it was what it was. So I just want to do a story time about like the scariest day I had on that job. So I remember going in that day, they told me like, hey, Sharia, you're gonna have 3 patients because, one of my patients was on high flow. And at this particular hospital, if you had a patient on high flow, you only had 3 patients, as far as it being a med-surg floor. So I get there and, I'm getting a report, and they told me that this particular patient was, his high flow was having to get like increasingly higher, like he was requiring more and more oxygen, so on and so forth. So I'm like, all right, cool, I'll keep an eye on him, that's fine. Mind you, I had another patient literally in the room right next to his. I had another patient who, he had like really high potassium levels. So he was starting to have peak T waves. So like this is going on basically at the same time. Funny thing, that day we had 2 charge nurses. We had a support charge and a regular charge. But the support charge, he was real cool, but I could tell that day he wasn't really trying to do too much work because he was, it was his last day, so he was leaving. And then our other charge, I found out that she was she hadn't really worked with adults before. She was like a pediatric nurse, but don't get me wrong, she was a bomb charge nurse. And so this is not me talking about either one of them, but I'm just showing y'all how like the cards, just the hand that I was dealt that day. So I'm not an ICU nurse. I'm not a PCU nurse. I'm a med tele nurse. I really don't deal with super critical patients. I have them for maybe an hour at the max, and then they're gone to a floor where they can get that, in-depth type of care. Like that's just not the type of nurse that I am. So I have these 2 patients, and this patient has peak T waves, but I'm not really focusing on him. I'm more so trying to focus and stabilize my patient that's on the high flow, because I'm noticing like sorry y'all, my brain. Telemetry. Telemetry keeps calling me like, hey, his oxygen's dropping. Hey, his oxygen's dropping. I'm like, how? His high flow is turned all the way up to the max. So I go in there and I see him trying to like rotate in the bed, but like as he's trying to rotate in the bed, his oxygen is just dropping so low. And I'm like, oh my God. And I'm like, sir, listen to me. I know you want to be on your back. I know it's more comfortable for you that way, but I need you to be on your stomach. At this point, it's not about comfort, it's about survival. Like, I need you to be on your stomach. And even on his stomach, he had to lay completely still in order for him to get up to an acceptable oxygen level. And when I say he was dropping low, like 74, and it was a true reading, y'all. He was dropping low, and I'm just thinking, oh my gosh, this man's gonna pass out. This man is going to pass out. Now, I've learned from personal experience, you can drop down to 74 for like a couple seconds before you actually pass out. The only reason why I know, because this happened to me. So I know that you can, but at the time I didn't know that. So I was just like, I need you to focus. But then the man who had the peak T waves, he was getting dialysis. The dialysis nurse comes out and is like, hey, the patient, I think he's had a seizure, or, you know, actually that's not even what happened. The dialysis nurse calls me and says, this patient is looking funny. So I go in the room and he's looking off, like really, really off. The doctor is surprisingly walking down the hall, and I don't even know if this was his doctor or not. I just called him in the room and said, hey, sir, can you just come here, just look at him, because I really don't like know. And so immediately he looks at the cardiac monitor, because we had the monitors up by the bed, because each room had a monitor. He looks at it, he says, oh, this patient, yeah, he's gonna have a heart attack soon. Like those peak T waves, he needs calcium gluconate right now. And I was like, is that an order? Like, are you giving me an order? Go ahead and put that in, because I know you're not his doctor, but come on now, you see what's going on. So he was like, yeah, I'll go ahead and put the order in. So I'm trying to handle this, because now I'm really freaking out, because I'm like, oh my God, he's about to have a heart attack. And my other man is in here basically like about to pass out, because he's not breathing. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, help me. And so the calcium gluconate comes. Now, if y'all don't know, calcium gluconate is a push medication. You push it and you give it fast. But for whatever reason, they gave it to me in like a 100 milliliter bag or whatever. But thankfully, the dialysis nurse ran it wide open through his, you know, his dialysis catheter, and just, you know, just gave it to him. And then in the middle of him getting it, this man, the patient, just goes still, stares up at the sky, and like completely unresponsive. And I'm thinking, did he just cold? Because his heart started doing like weird stuff. And I'm like, did he just cold? In the middle of me asking myself this, the patient right next door, Mr. Oxygen, they called me like, yeah, his oxygen's like at 70. It's kind of been sustaining there. I need you to get in there. And I was just like, what the fun? Like, what the fun is happening? So at this point, I'm like, where's my charge nurse? And I'm calling her and she don't answer. So I end up having to do a MET call, which is kind of like, it was basically a rapid response. So all of the people came, and I'm like, please, can we just get this man to be responsive? And like, can half of y'all go to the other room and please stabilize this patient? Because these are, at this point, these are ICU patients. Like, I can't handle this. I can't think straight. I don't really know. I don't know what's going on. And so they were like, sorry, our ICU beds are all full. You're gonna have to keep them until we can possibly discharge or downgrade somebody. And I was just thinking like, oh my God, I'm gonna lose my license today because I can't take care of these people. You guys, I felt so uncomfortable. I was like, I cannot. But luckily, there was a nurse there. He was a PCU nurse who used to be a PCU charge nurse. He came, he kind of helped me, he talked me through it, and he was like, you know, you can take care of these people. All you really got to do, truly, tell the doctor what it is you are seeing and let him give you the order and you fulfill the order. Like, at this point, you don't have to have all this brain power, all this other stuff that you think you got to know how to solve and cure. You're not the doctor, which really kind of took a weight off my shoulder, because I'm like, I have to save their life, which I can do my job. But honestly, it wasn't coming to my brain. Like, you know, normally you have an issue going on, your patient's blood pressure is low, you just gave a Lasix or something, you call the doctor, hey, but patient's blood pressure is such and such, the heart rate is such and such, do you want to do a quick such and such bolus? You know what I'm saying? Like, you kind of have a game plan. But in this scenario, I did not have a game plan. So I'm like, this is it. Like, I'm about to lose 2 patients in one day. Y'all, it was so crazy. Like, my heart was going through the roof. I'm like, this can't be my life. This cannot be my life. But it was, y'all. But thankfully, they survived. It had to be God, because it wasn't me. They survived. The man, I finally convinced him to lay on his stomach. The other patient, he went to the ICU, and then they determined it was just a seizure, I guess. That's what they told me. I don't know. I haven't, you know, I'm used to the tonic-clonic seizures where they're shaking and stuff. I'm not used to the just still staring off into space type seizures. So it really freaked me out. And it even freaked the dialysis nurse out too, because he was like, I need you to get in here now because I don't know how to deal with this. And I'm like, I don't either. But yes, that was the craziest time I've ever had, where basically I had 2 patients crashing at one time. I never want to go through that again. However, what I can say is it's those experiences that'll make you a stronger, more confident nurse, because you learn like how to manage in those experiences. So when you get to experiences that aren't as bad, you're less freaked out, you're a little bit more calm. And honestly, the more you do stuff, the more comfortable you get with it. So that's all I really had to say. I just want to come on and make a video and just tell y'all about the craziest time I had in my nursing career thus far. Do I feel like it's gonna get crazier? Yes. Yes, I do. But that was just a start, just a taste, you know. I feel like, you know, eventually I think I am going to move into the NICU. I just see myself wanting to go that route. Like, mother baby is very, very cool. I love it. But as I'm working it, I'm like, I want that challenge of dealing with these sick babies and being able to bring a mom that peace, and to see a baby go from like really like sick and weak and just frail to, you know, their robust, crying, loud selves. You know, that's what I want for myself. So anyway, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this quick little story time, and I will see y'all in the next video. Bye.